Today, we will be covering concepts, terminologies, and applications of AI in real estate. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand what artificial intelligence is, machine learning, and different uses of this great piece of technology. Welcome to AutoRead.ai. This is day 2. I'm Ua, I'm your host, and I've been involved in real estate for nearly 2 decades now, from renting out units to development. Now I'm doing software development. I've always been a software consultancy running a software business. And the aim of this series of courses is to upgrade and increase the knowledge of AI, automation, and all things IT within the real estate sphere, specifically for real estate agents. Because we've noticed that there's a lot of information that's either convoluted, or the agents don't understand, or they're scared to adapt or adopt the new technologies. But hopefully by the end of this series, we'd have many more agents comfortable with artificial intelligence, comfortable with the understanding that AI is not here to replace them, but rather it's here to help engender new ways of working, speed up the time to completion, and increase the amount of money you'd earn, which inevitably leads to greater profits. Okay, so let's begin with the first set of concepts and terminologies that people need to know in order to operate in this sphere. So AI is all about getting machines to learn and act like human beings. Now, intelligence is essentially displaying certain characteristics. And if you look at a human being and you ask them a question and they're able to answer the question correctly, we typically say that human being is intelligent. Now, it's the same thing with machines, but it's all artificial because we are the ones feeding that information in. They've not learned it in any organic way, so to speak. We give them the parameters and we give them the training, and then they return the answers to us based on the questions that we ask. And what is machine learning? So machine learning is really about how computers use data to improve their performance on different tasks, from identifying potential leads for your property business to recommending new properties to clients. And all of that comes from feeding the machine different information from the past, different data, and using that data, it's able to work out what combination of client and property goes together. Deep learning is more about teaching those machines and a different way of teaching those machines, using different multiple layers of what we would call neurons. So neurons exist in the human brain, but there's a simulation of these neurons in the computer sphere. And those neurons are arranged in different layers, and those layers are used to teach the machine the information we want them to learn. So that is how they're able to do things like facial recognition. They're able to understand what's happening in the markets and predict what's going to happen in the future. It's all by the computers processing tons and tons and millions of batches of data and data points. Natural language processing is essentially us getting computers to understand the language we're speaking now, and any language would fit into this. There are systems that understand Mandarin, understand Spanish, French, and then English, obviously. And that understanding again comes from the machine being trained with the patterns of how the English language works. And there are machines now that understand the different accents, the different nuances for different parts of the world. And what I mean by that is the way English is spoken potentially in America is different from the UK, different from Canada. The way we structure our sentences all differs. And these machines are able to understand this, understand these nuances, understand the different inflections, and repeat them back to us. The next very, very important part of artificial intelligence, especially in the real estate field, is computer vision. So computer vision is essentially us getting the computer to look at an image and describe what's in the image. So tools like DALL-E, tools like Midjourney, These are all things we'll look at during the course of this series, but you're able to present the computer with an image and ask it what's going on in this image, and it would repeat back to you what it sees. And quite often it's impressive, really, really impressive, how it's able to describe items in the picture, describe the mood, the tone, what season is presented in the picture. But we'll see that throughout this series. So do stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting ride. Now, in terms of real estate specifically, computer vision would help in terms of virtual property tours. So where rather than somebody having to be physically at a property, you can provide them with the relevant information. And there are many companies that do this now, where you can zoom through properties, you can go from one room to another, and it's not just playing them a video. These are tours where the person viewing has a lot of control over what they see, can ask questions and have the things answered. And the other crucial point where AI is especially useful in vision and property tours is you can actually ask it to describe the condition of the property, and you can make other decisions based on that, on the condition of the property. Decisions like how much to offer, what sort of valuation we can place on a particular property. The other sets of terminologies that you'd hear as it pertains to artificial intelligence is stuff like algorithm. You've heard algorithm, and a lot of people have heard it, especially to do with some like YouTube channels or social media, or why isn't my post working? They would say it's because the algorithm isn't doing what's expected, or algorithm is not favoring my post. Essentially, algorithms are just a set of instructions. So if we say to the algorithm, when you see a post at 5 a.m., make sure it goes to people in America, and when it's at 10 p.m., make sure it goes to people in China. Those are instructions. That's all part of the algorithm, the instruction, like a recipe. Follow these instructions, and that's it. The computer is not going to try to create its own rules. Especially when it comes to stuff like algorithms. Yes, we now teach them to do some reasoning and do more intricate things, but for all intents and purposes, the algorithm is a list of instructions that are presented to a computer or to a machine, and it follows. Data mining, I think that's fairly obvious. It's where machines dig through tons and tons and tons of data, stretching back hundreds of years. And the whole idea with that data mining operation is to figure out patterns, work out connections, work out links. How does the stock price of a property company dropping by 15% affect the value of properties in a completely different country? All those kind of links. When did we last have a 100% growth in prices or 10% increase in prices? What things happened around that time? What was the news happening in that time frame? Why was there suddenly a jump in the value of properties, or suddenly a sudden drop in the values of properties at specific times in history? So digging through all of that information, all of that data, would mean that when the analytics is complete, when the understanding is complete, the machine will be able to make certain recommendations because it's seen certain patterns. And that's essentially how it works. It's not creating those patterns, it's not generating it, it's just providing that information. So stuff like generative AI, which you would have heard in connection with ChatGPT, is where the machine itself is creating the data, generating the information. That's why it's generative AI. So it's generating information by itself. But then again, it's generating that information based on the information it's already been trained on, and based on the information that's already been presented. It's not creative in the way we describe humans being creative. Now, predictive analytics is using historical data to predict future trends, such as forecasting like property prices, or identifying the next big thing, the next big trend, the next hot market. That's predictive analytics. The next one is chatbots and virtual assistants. These are AI-powered helpers, capable of engaging with clients and automating tasks. So when a client, a potential client, visits your website, regardless of the time or day, there'll be something there that's able to respond to their queries, help them find matching properties. And if you've got a wonderful CRM that's already embedded, it'll be possible for the machine to identify who's connected based on maybe their login details or their source IP address, and the chatbot can present them the properties that they're interested in at that stage in their lives. And it can vary it depending on the age of the client and depending on the demographic, depending on whether the client has a family or has children. There's no point presenting a tiny apartment or tiny flat to a family of 5. So that sort of information wouldn't need to ask the client every single time they come to the website. That information would already exist and be available to the machines. Okay, market analysis and predictive analytics. I've touched on this a bit, but again, it's AI trying to sift through and analyze massive data sets and using that to predict what's coming down the pike. AVMs, these have been around in the property industry for a very long time, so automated valuation models. And what these do is they help AI to assess a property's value. And I'm sure you would have noticed that not all property transactions require a property valuer or an assessor to go out to site. There are some transactions where the bank is comfortable to do a desktop valuation, and that desktop valuation is essentially based on these valuation models. So it's been around for a while, and if you're comfortable with desktop valuations, because it saves you time, saves you money, saves the client time, saves the client money as well, then AI now, albeit it's big in the media and it's been hyped, is there to do exactly the same thing in other spheres of real estate. So save us time, do things quickly, be more efficient, be more consistent, and continue to deliver value to us, the users of the tools. Now with CRMs, customer relationship management systems, they're there to personalize the experience of your clients. Personalize the experience of your landlords, your purchasers, your sellers. When they turn up at your website, regardless of the time, their experience is bespoke to them and tailored to them. This is only really possible with AI-powered tools, because otherwise, some human being would need to understand every single client, needs to stay awake every point in the day, which isn't physically possible. But these machines are helping us potentially make our clients a lot more satisfied and give them a better user experience. And with this, you can identify potential leads and nurture client relationships. So how would that work in practice? Let's say somebody had purchased a property from you when they were single. With their personalized CRM, the AI can automatically work out that perhaps 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, the person potentially should be married, potentially should be ready to move in with their partner, or potentially might have kids, and would flag to you that, okay, you can reach out to this client. It's that time when they might be wanting to trade up, change their property, sell the old property, and that sort of bespoke, customized experience is possible with AI, and you wouldn't have to think about it. It's all programmed in, and it will just flag that information, just raise alerts and notifications to the agent. And some of this can be automated, but when we talk about the next session, which is the drawbacks, we'll look at some of the pitfalls with some of these AI systems and why a lot of these AI systems have to have a man in the middle, or have a man, the terminology is person in the loop. So have a human in the loop to help with the decisions that need to be made. So next one is virtual property tours. So this essentially is providing an experience that's just more than photos. You send information to your client, they look at the photos currently, and it just doesn't provide that immersive experience that you can have with virtual tools. So AI can make this whole experience a lot more wonderful and a lot more exciting, a lot more immersive, and will provide your purchaser or your client with a better understanding of the property that's being shown to them. And with AI, I'm sure you may have noticed that you can stage a property or create a certain setting for your client to appreciate how a space could be decorated, could be furnished. So all of that is strictly AI, and these tools currently exist. So adopt them, adapt your business to take advantage of these benefits that we currently have, and AI enabled benefits. Okay, so this brings me to the last slide for the day, and I would love you to send me your questions, to put comments in the comment section for anything that any feedback that you have. If there's something that I've said that's not totally correct or you have a different view on, please put it in the comment section. But more importantly, you are not alone in this journey. We at Autori AI, we are able to help you get your business to an AI standpoint, help you elevate your team, help you speed up your team, increase the speed to completion, increase the customer satisfaction, and improve the customer experience through implementing not too many AI tools, but applying these tools to the right points in your business. Because we understand that with the number of tools, the proliferation of AI tools, every single business has AI running in them right now, and many more companies are releasing tools. There are thousands, over 7,000 different AI tools. And the issue for you would be, which ones do I start with? How do I get this integrated into my business? And that's where Autori can help. So if you reach out to us via our website or send an email to uwa@autori.ai, we'll be able to set up an AI audit and get your business moving in the direction that it ought to, and get you prepared for the future way of doing business. So just to recap some of the things that we covered today, AI in real estate is not just a futuristic concept, it's here. It's incredibly powerful. We've gone through some of the terminologies and some of the concepts. So concepts like machine learning, deep learning, what an algorithm is, the different tools and different applications of AI in our businesses. So keep that in mind. I don't want to feed you too much information at once, but this is the end of day 2. Day 3, we'll talk about the drawbacks, advantages and disadvantages of AI. And that shall be exciting as we approach the stages where we start to do things more practically and do more demos. So thank you so much for listening. I'm Uwa, and I am grateful for your time. So catch you next time.